there. I'm here sitting right beside Jen, actually physically in the same room because my internet went down just about a half hour ago. Sorry. Luckily, we live close, right?
Yep.
So that's teamwork. Okay, so welcome to our Happy Oilers Club. Learning the skills that are actually required for growing a successful Young Living team. Okay, so we're going to start out with the very first step, which is why do we do what we do? What motivates you? The power of your why really has everything to do with your success. So if your why is just kind of like, oh, I just kind of like to help people, is that enough to get you out of bed in the morning and passionate in sharing what you're doing? No. So Jen, could you share a little bit about what your why is?
Yeah, so my why is, well, basically, I found that these oils help me and my family so much, especially as a new mom, to use the oils to really empower myself in caring for my children, that I felt that I can do the most impact to help other moms that also have young children, and not only in their journey to wellness, but also to empower them, that, when I think the biggest fear is in the middle of the night when their kid's cold gets so bad, or fever spikes, or whatever, and there's no doctor around, and what do? And I think that's the empowerment part of Young Living is really important to me.
Well, like you, I'm very, very motivated by really helping people improve the quality of their lives using natural products. And really what got me started was my own success, my own really, really miraculous success with the oils. And after a while, maybe I didn't kept my mouth shut for about 6 months, then I just didn't feel right with myself. So sharing Young Living has given me a sense of purpose that I never had before. And then, of course, beyond just the satisfaction of being able to touch so many people's lives in such a positive way, there is also the financial benefit to sharing. That for me, being a pianist, it's always been kind of a hand-to-mouth existence. I don't have an employer. I've always been self-employed, and basically make enough to live on and really no more. So Young Living has really given me hope that I can actually. This is kind of like my retirement program. It's my is really about relationship. So let's talk about some of the skills that really are necessary for growing a successful team. I mean, lots of people share with one or two or three or four or five people, but not so many. I mean, it's really a very small percentage of the people, distributors in Young Living, that actually grow a organization of any size. And so there's a reason for this. Basically, personal development is key, and learning the skills that are really required for that, necessary for that. So, Jen, why don't you talk about caring for people? That's probably the most important basic thing.
Yeah. So I guess it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, but you actually have to care about people, right?
But I try to instill in my children that what we want to do in this world is go into it with a serving heart,
Mm-hmm.
and creating. And, that's something that I talk to them a lot about. And we just my mother-in-law brought them to the toy store today, and just talking to them about this is kind of a stretch because they'll never do this probably, but the idea of maybe instead of getting a toy for yourself, maybe you want to get the toy for your brother, or just having that dialogue and just teaching them how to have a serving heart. And it really enforces it in my own life too, when I teach them. And that really is where the caring comes from, is how can I serve? Because I believe that we were put on this reason not for ourselves, not for our own glory, but to really serve in the community.
That's really true. That reminds me. I've taught a lot of students as a pianist over my career, and it's very interesting to see the different dynamics in families. And I've been very struck with certain ones, not so many, where the siblings looked out for each other in a serving way. In the way the interaction, the caring in that family was obviously modeled by the parents. And those families stick out in my memories like, wow, that's what it's about, instead of I think culturally we've been kind of like in the me kind of a phase for too long, actually. So it's a really beautiful thing, I think, to teach our children. Now, one of the first objections I usually hear from people when they think that when they want to get oils is like, I don't want to sell anything. Do I have to sell anything? I said, no, you don't have to sell anything. In fact, I never really sell anything either. Yeah. That's not what
it's nice that Young Living doesn't have any quotas for us to sell.
Yeah, because so many companies do, and that's a really big problem. So yeah, it's not about selling. It's about educating, about sharing something that you love. It's just basically the same thing as sharing about that movie that I saw the other night, or a great restaurant, or So that's just it's a different
with no pressure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
no strings, no pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's all it's just about sharing and about building relationships. Really, it's about that. And of course, inherent in that is really great communication skills, and listening skills are so necessary. I know so many of us who are so excited about the oils basically verbally vomit all over people. Well, we call that fire hosing.
Yeah,
right?
I did that a lot at the beginning.
Yeah, I did too, because we're really enthusiastic. Yeah. But rather than talking so much, how about asking questions and really listen to the answer? And I found that's what people love it when you listen to them. They honor you. You honor them with your questions, and even more honor them with listening to them and really understanding what they're saying. I mean, you have a friend for life when you learn those skills. Yeah. And in doing that, hear ways that I get ideas. That could really help that situation. Or this other thing could really also build their knowledge of how Young Living can really meet their needs.
Yeah.
A lot of opportunities missed when you don't listen.
And ask questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Obviously, it's really important to focus on the person that you're talking to, and what their needs are, rather than thinking about what my needs are. So many people I know on my team are afraid of making phone calls.
Yeah.
They have a performance anxiety about that. And I remember I used to have that, now I have none of that. And it's because I'm not thinking about myself. I'm thinking about them. I call somebody and say, "Oh, how are you doing?"
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so easy to make a phone call like that.
Yeah.
There's a book that we have listed in our notes at the end. By the way, our notes to this class are posted on our Happy Wheelers Club Facebook group. It's in the file, so be sure to download those and print them out. There's a book that I highly recommend. It's the one, let me see, How to Talk to Anyone. That's a great book. Every chapter is like 2
Very
pages.
short. Yeah.
It's good bathroom material.
Yeah.
It's like, it's perfect. And in that book, she describes there are 2 types of people. The type that walks into the room and says, "Here I am." It's like me, me, me. Or the kind of person that goes into steps into the room and says, "Oh, here you are." Like the energy of the difference between those are extreme. It's very powerful.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about some communication skills that can help to build rapport. Well, one thing that we have talked about a lot in our in-house classes are agreement buffers. Okay, so Jen and I are going to model an agreement buffer. Okay, I'm going to be the person with the objection. Okay, Jen, I just can't afford these oils. They're just too expensive.
Oh, Maggie, I understand how you feel. I agree with you. I felt the same way in the beginning. I thought $30 for that little bottle of thieves? Like, no way. But then once I realized that it actually had 300 drops, like 280, 300 drops in there, and I realized all the stuff it could do for me, and then I realized that's all it was, only $30. So what I did there was I first agreed with Peggy, told her how I felt, and then told her what I found. So I have an easier time understanding it in what I call it the feel, felt, found method. So this is how I understand how you feel, this is how I felt, and this is what I found out. Feel, felt, found.
That's good. Well done. And we have opportunities to utilize that little agreement buffer all the time.
Yeah.
And
I did think like $30.
I remember my first order with Young Living. I was like, what? I was like, well, I hope these work as well as, I think they're going to work, or I hope they work, because that's really a lot of money. Actually, yeah, so that's kind of a typical one, and we get them all the time, so that's really important. And then, how about, Jen, could you give us an example of an easy exit?
So, Peggy, I'm really, I have only a couple minutes and I have to go take care of my kids, but I was wondering if you'd be interested in reading this brochure I have about essential oils. But I don't have much time, so if you have any questions, let me know.
Okay, so describe what you do.
So I first started with just announcing that I'm not going to hound you for the next hour about and talk to you and take up your time. So it's an easy exit because it's allowing the conversation to flow a little quicker and we can just move on.
Okay. So I'll give it a little example. So, let's pretend I don't know Jen, she just told me she has a headache. And I say, well, if I had something that could help you headache, would you be interested? And I totally understand if you aren't, so
Yeah.
that's kind of like a buffer. I'm asking permission. I'm saying it's totally okay if she's not interested.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an easy exit. So those kinds of things just kind of help the person relax a little bit. And then if they become a little more receptive, what may happen.
So I don't know why anyone wouldn't want to find out how to get rid of it.
Yeah, well, you never know.
There are people.
Yeah, well, some people, they're just, they're suspicious.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm a little bit like that when I'm out shopping, and the sales lady says, "Can I help you?" Even if I want help, I'll say no. And then
I'm just browsing.
Yeah, exactly, because I don't want to be hounded.
And that's what an easy exit allows, is allows them to just browse without the pressure.
Exactly. So that's really good. Okay, now this is really important, and I certainly made this mistake. So I became an expert in essential oils. I thought I needed to become a certified clinical aromatherapist in order to be able to help people. Well, guess what? You don't need to be an expert in essential oils. Okay? Use your third-party resources. Use your EDR. Use all the resources that we have. Okay?
Including your upline.
Exactly. And your side line and your down line. Okay? So that's very, very important.
Yeah, I've been actually getting a lot of questions from new members about becoming certified and how to do that. And unless they have a very specific background of being in the healthcare industry, and they need those letters attached to the end of their name to be taken seriously by, maybe they're working in a practice or something, I don't recommend it.
No, I don't recommend it either, because once you become an expert, then everyone else thinks they need to become an expert. And if our goal is to help the most number of people with, take charge of their own health, which this is a self-care system. We're not Dr. Wannabes here.
Yeah.
We didn't want to replace medical, or the medical model with a holistic model of basically authority figures.
Yeah.
We want to educate people and help people to be able to just take care of their own health, and that's going to slow the process way, 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 way down. And if you have uplines, which of course you do, we have like Bing, 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 me, Nancy, and Sue. We're all certified clinical aromatherapists. You can consult with us.
Yeah.
Use us for the kind of tougher questions. Okay.
All right. So we can.
Are you still on?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you're on now.
Okay. Well, we went a little bit off the air again. Okay, so we're back. We're having a little internet problems tonight.
All right. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention is if you do want to put in the effort, time, and money, one of the best things you can do is get a good anatomy book, a good book on essential oils.
Maybe the Dr. Stewart book, Chemistry of Essential Oils. It has a lot of great information about synthetic oils, like the different oils that you will have out there. You have a lot of good information about detox reactions versus allergies. I mean, there's a lot, and it's simple. It's Chemistry of Essential Oils made simple.
Yeah, like that's David Stewart.
That's a really good one. It's easy read. Even I can do it. I'm not that technical.
Yeah.
So, in other words, keep it simple and duplicatable and use your tools. Very, very important. Another thing that they always say is be a product of the product. In other words, make the Young Living lifestyle your lifestyle. Actually use all the products. That's where Essential Rewards is so valuable.
Yeah.
That way you can order, various things, whatever you need every month. You get the free, you get the points for free product. That's where I get all of my personal care products. It's just, it's a no-brainer. And of course, the more you actually utilize the products, the more stories, the more testimonials you have, and the more authentic you will be when you share. Okay, because this is really about lifestyle. All right. The other thing that is important, even if you're not really a business person, it's important to understand the business enough so that you can answer questions for people. Because a lot of people are interested.
Yeah.
And of course, use your upline, who may know a little bit more than you do. But it's important to familiarize yourself. And of course, if you're on this webinar, you're doing just that, and that's very important. One thing that's really important, and I think, Jen, this is really, I think one of the many reasons why you have been so successful is you work together as a team beautifully.
Yeah.
You utilize the community. You utilize the team. You work together, and that is so key. And this is a business where you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself.
Yeah.
And I notice that the people who are do it all by themselves without really working together, they just don't grow as fast, and they have a much harder time. And of course, I don't think it's nearly as fun as doing it together. I'm really more like a do it together kind of person.
Yeah. Right. And let's sit across from you so we can see each other.
There you
I
go.
feel like we're talking side by side.
Yeah, we are. Okay, so that's really, really important. Now, this is another one of the reasons you've been really successful. And when I started doing this, I became a lot more successful too. Is what Darren Hardy talks about, speaks about the compound effect.
Yes.
So can you
So
tell us about that?
It's basically how if you do a little bit every day, the sum of it is going to multiply exponentially.
Absolutely.
So being able to, just constantly creating momentum, and not that you have to work hard every day, but just a little bit every day goes a long way.
And consistently. Consistent effort is really key. It's much better than working really hard one day and then not doing anything for the rest of the time. I love this. This was
and that goes true with using oils too. You get most effect using it consistently every day rather than one big drop once a week.
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely key. And most people who don't get results with oils aren't using them often enough or enough.
Yeah.
With enough consistency.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely cool with life, right?
Yeah.
Everything you do. I think I learned that when I learned to play the piano to the degree that I did. It's the everyday practice, the everyday regimen, and it's the everyday. Making the phone calls every day, following up every day, doing whatever you do, but doing it consistently. And it does create momentum that just it's easy.
Yeah.
It's very hard. It's like starting a diet. It's so hard, or an exercise regime.
Yeah.
So much easier if you just do it every day. Yeah. So, I love this expression from Sarah Robbins, the difference between part-time, and sometimes. Yeah, I like that. Sometimes just doesn't really work very much. Okay, now this is very important. When you have complaints and gripes, process them with your upline, not with your downline. Never complain and gripe to your downline. That's the mistake I see a lot of people making.
Yeah, and that relates to my everyday life too. I mean, if I have an issue, I'm going to talk to my husband, not my kids.
No, that's absolutely true. It's kind of common sense.
Yeah.
And by doing that, you process it with your upline who has a little bit more wisdom, a little bit more experience, and you can actually get some results. If you talk to your downline, you're griping with them, it really makes it very murky, and it makes it hard for them to succeed.
Yeah.
It kind of contaminates,
Yeah, the energy.
Yeah, it definitely does. So that's very important. And here's a question: would you want to sponsor yourself? Yeah, that's a very important. And if you wouldn't, you need to basically step it up and become the person you would like to attract into your team
and model to people in your team.
Absolutely, and that's leadership. Okay, becoming the leader that you would like to attract in your team. Remember that leaders lead from in front. Not they don't push from behind. I think we've all made that mistake. Trying to push somebody, it never works. You just model it, you lead it, and again, remember we're problem solvers. We're not whiners. Yeah. Okay. All right. So there is a huge difference between selling starter kits and building an organization. Now, what's the difference between them?
Well, if you're selling starter kits, not everyone needs a starter kit, even though it is the best value. We have.
Say that again. I think we became accidentally. I think the mute became accidentally muted. So say what you just said.
Okay. So the starter kit's great. It's a great value. It's a great place to start. But sometimes people may need more than what the starter kit includes.
Absolutely. So, like, if somebody had like fibromyalgia, what might you start them with?
Some cleansing products, some anti-inflammatory products.
Maybe like Nature Red, something like that.
Sometimes if the premium starter kit isn't what they need at all, then we'll get the $40 kit and then what they need.
Or even the $70. Yeah, the 75, whatever one that is. What's the diffuser if they need a diffuser?
Yeah. I think it's the basic one.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of tempting because the premium kit is like such a great deal.
Yeah.
If they can afford that, plus Nature or whatever they want, that better yet. But I think I have a number of people on my team that they're good prospectors. They sell a lot of starter kits, and then that's the last time they order.
Yeah.
Now, have we really served them?
Yeah.
And what's the missing piece?
Well, following up is really what's important. So,
in other words, building the relationship with that person. So, describe what you do for follow-up.
Yeah. I always make sure that I contact the person when they get their starter kit. So usually, a week later, 10 days later, when I know they have their kit, I'll call them and say, I'll say, what is your favorite oil?
That's a great way. So you do it in a really positive way.
Yeah. And it's a question that usually they can have an answer to rather than like, do you like your kit? Yes. It doesn't really go anywhere. Whereas if I say, what's your favorite oil? Oh, purification. Oh, why are you using purification so much? Why do you like it? So it's a question that leads to more questions that are fun and help me to understand their needs.
Right.
And the other thing is I'll either call or Facebook or text about a week or two later to see how they're doing again.
So you're also kind of making sure they understand how to use all the different oils for whatever their needs are. You're
how to dilute. I show them the Happy Oilers Club website where they can learn. We have a class recording there. Our YouTube channel has lots of class recording. So pointing
you hook them into Facebook, our Facebook group.
Our Facebook group is
right away.
Yeah. So there's lots of. I probably should make a checklist.
That would probably be good. We should probably make a document with a checklist.
Yeah, because it's like a checklist in my head right now.
Yeah, I mean, me too. We've been doing it so long and successfully, so we know what to do and we do it. But a lot of our team members may not know. So I think that'll be another project.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's really, really good. So Sarah Robbins has some ideas in her book, Rock Your Network Marketing Business, and as to how to treat her members like a VIP. So you're doing it just like what she said. You call them a week, or in the Northeast, more like 10 days after they ordered their starter kit, because that's how long it takes for them to get it, and just check in with them. Then she always signs all her people up on the equivalent of our essential rewards. And so it's very important to, if you haven't, in that first follow-up call, if you haven't told them about essential rewards yet, that's the perfect time to do it. So in that first call, you've seen what their favorite oil is, how to use the oils, what their needs, blah, blah, blah. Then it's a good time to get on the computer together, show them how to place orders. And I always say, well, you can place a regular order, but since you're wanting to get Nichiren, you're wanting to try to get these cleansing stuff that you want, you may want to consider essential rewards, because then I explain the benefits. So I explain the two different ways to order. It's very easy.
Especially if I see that they ordered consecutive months.
Mm-hmm. And I usually don't wait for that. I usually, in that first meeting, I just throw it out there that, hey, if when you want to order next, this will save you a lot of money. Yeah. And sometimes, it sticks. Or sometimes I forget about it. But I've had a lot of people just get on after. And I used to wait, after they placed consecutive orders, and it slows the whole thing down. Meanwhile, they could have, been earning points.
Yeah.
I know personally, I wasn't told about essential rewards until I had placed 6 consecutive months orders of large amounts. I didn't even know. I could have earned so much free stuff, So I just never want to just do that disservice to someone else. Okay, and it's not pressure; it's just telling them how to get it the best deal.
Yeah,
right. And then so Sarah, she recommends calling them a week before their next essential rewards order, so that you can kind of powwow, you can discuss what their needs are, so they can kind of get their order together. Yeah. So I think that's really, really good. And obviously checking up with and reaching out to people periodically is really, really important for just, building rapport and building ongoing relationship. So they don't feel kind of stranded. And of course, it's very important to always let people know about classes and events, new product launches, whatever, convention. And that's where, the website is so helpful. Post all our events there. Happy Oilers Facebook page.
Yeah, if you have any events going on, lots of people are doing. They're going to art shows this time of year, or holiday shows. And if you're going to have a table, let us know, and we'll put it on our website. You can also add it to Facebook.
Yeah, you can post your own events on our Facebook group, and I really encourage all of you to do that. Wherever you live.
Yeah.
It's very important to just put the word out.
Yeah.
And
because there might be people also on that Facebook group that know someone that lives local to you, and
we want to help each other out. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so and the more you connect your team members with community, whether it's in person or online, the faster this will grow, and the more duplicatable it is, the easier. Then the burden is off of us. It's much easier now to build than it used to be.
Yeah.
With all the resources we have. Okay, so let's just talk a little bit about the stages of growing. As we grow our organization bigger, I know Jenny has been experiencing this very rapidly, because your group has grown really, really quickly.
Yeah.
When we start out, what we're doing on a daily basis is a little different from what we're doing now.
Yeah.
As we rise in ranks.
Yeah. I remember just starting out, it was probably last summer, thinking, all right, I want to do a little bit every day. What am I going to do tomorrow?
Yeah,
it's hard to find stuff to do.
Yeah, I remember experiencing that same thing. It's like, I had to think of stuff to do.
Yeah. once you get the ball rolling,
it's like I don't have enough hours in the day to do everything I want to do.
it's fun.
It is really fun. Well, it's very motivating.
Yeah.
Right. It's true. It just kind of takes off. So, and most people usually start with their warm market. Not everybody. Some people are more comfortable with cold market. Now, the warm market means that's their friends or family.
Yeah.
I know I start with the warm market.
Your Facebook friends. Yeah.
Your friends and your family members, and because they already know and trust you. Well, mostly.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, and of course, people like to do things with people they know and trust in general.
Yeah.
Right? So, cold market, that's when, I think your sister Rachel's doing a lot of cold market. She's doing a lot of events.
Yeah.
Big events. So, that's more cold
Or if
market.
you pass someone at the grocery store and you give them your business card. Cold market.
Or you talk to the checkout counter
Yeah.
person who has a headache.
Yeah.
Or the waitress. So, you're always looking for either customer, people who need to use, you really want the oils, or maybe, somebody who's a connector. Maybe they don't really like the oils, they're not really into it, but they might know somebody who is.
Yeah.
So, just because somebody you speak to isn't interested for themselves, you can always ask the question, do you know anybody who would really, would be into this, do you think? And that can be, those can be some very valuable contacts.
Yeah. And then sometimes it'll get that person interested because they're like,
Right.
hey, how come you're not asking me?
Yeah, and what's kind of nice to do, if they connect you with somebody, it's kind of nice to gift them with a little something.
Yeah.
Here's a little thank you. Maybe a little oil something or something.
Yeah.
Or something that, and they're like, well, this is pretty good after all,
Yeah.
So that's it, it's interesting because everybody in the world's connected to way more people than you would think.
Yeah.
And of course, you're also looking for business builders. So, of course, there are a lot fewer of those generally.
Yeah.
There's lots of people who need the oils.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who are connectors, not as many business builders, who really have this skill. So, what one does, as we said, really changes over time as we grow. So, last night we talked about the compensation plan basics. We didn't really go into, we went through the ranks, but we didn't say what that meant really. So, STAR is 500 OGV, and if you don't know what that is, watch our webinar from last night. We explained all the terminology. So that's, you're just starting out. Well, in fact, I was like a star with my own orders without sharing with anybody, But, and then there's senior star, which is $2,000. So that means $2,000 worth of sales in a month. So, at that time, what are you doing generally?
Just sharing with your friends and family, keeping it simple, and maybe you have one or two little computers there, that are starting to build. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're basically sharing, enrolling, following up, and supporting them.
Yeah.
And one thing that's important to remember to do, which I didn't do early on, which slowed me way down, is to help them to do the same. It just doesn't stop with you helping them, but you want to help them do the same to their friends. So, you're going to ask them, well, anybody, any family members, any friends that you think would really like this? Would you like to have a little gathering? And I'll come help you. Keep it really simple and duplicatable. So that's kind of what you're doing. And all along, you're kind of watching and observing to see, who pops up as a potential leader who's going to really do what
and
you're
the
doing.
people who you think will lead sometimes don't, and the people who you don't think will lead sometimes will. So it's kind of fun to just be.
I know. Well, that's definitely true because Jen, when I first met you, I had no idea. You were like the most timid.
Yeah.
It's like I never thought.
That's what oils will do.
Yeah, because I thought that Valor I told you really worked. Yeah. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah. So and it's fun. It's just wonderful to see. Yeah. So, and of course, by the time you're executive, usually you don't become executive without being a little bit serious, and making a concerted effort. And at this point, when you become executive in silver, this is when you're really helping to build and actively support your leaders. So your roles kind of takes a little bit of shift. Would you kind of describe how that has been for you?
Yeah, so I guess you go from sharing with your friends and family to really teaching your leaders how to share with their friends and family effectively, and talking about, we talked about earlier about the agreement buffers and the feel felt found method, and how to follow up and how to deal with issues that come up, and how to call customer service.
Sometimes getting on the phone with leadership, in three-way calls, doing a lot of three-way calls.
Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of like, so we're educators, we're counselors, we're psychologists, we're customer service, we're basically.
We have a lot of hats.
We do. Yeah, and it's all part of it, and kind of ironing over issues and helping people, kind of negotiate all of that. Yeah, it's very, very important. So, of course, as a silver, you need two leaders. So and as an executive, that's kind of the foundation for that. You're basically supporting and helping maybe two and probably three leaders. Or whoever is just kind of, I just always just supported whoever is pops up and steps up and is showing some effort and is willing to work together, is open to working together. So that's really important. So, Jen, you're a silver, well on your way to gold. I'm a gold and well on my way to platinum. So, things shift even a little more. At that point, serious duplication is required.
Yeah.
I can, my group now, the Happy Oilers Club, is now 700 members.
Yeah.
There is no way I can talk to 700 people.
Yeah.
With any regularity.
Yeah. Well, I remember earlier, a couple months ago, we talked to. So Vicki offers Royal Crown Diamond, and she. Are you on? Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. There you go. Okay, I'm back. We're having technical problems today.
Wow. I think because we're in the same internet, and it's probably slow with the two webcams going. Well, anyway, Vicki Opfer is Royal Crown Diamond, right?
Yep.
And she said that it's not about how many people you enroll, it's how many people in your team who are enrolling.
Yep. And that's duplication.
Yeah. So if you have 700 members in your team and only 2 people are enrolling all of those people.
I don't know how that's possible.
But that's not duplication. And it's going to, eventually, the people that they know is going to dwindle out. It will stop at 700.
Right. So what you want to see when you look at your downline viewers, you have a view on the top, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing and growing, like a pyramid.
Yeah.
And that's a stable organization.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's interesting. So keep in mind that the most legs needed for this current comp plan is 6. But this may change. So it's always good to have. So when I introduce somebody, if somebody really feels like a big leader to me, you probably want to put them front line. Unless you just really love one of your team and really want to help them, or you have enough already, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's really important. And then of course, by the time you become diamond, wow, that'll be amazing. Young Living is going to be asking us to be traveling and teaching all the other teams all our great secrets of how we did it. So so that's why Jeffrey and Gail Ann are traveling all over the world now. So yeah, your role really changes, and I think by that time the organization pretty much runs on its own. Yeah, because you had 5 major leaders who really cranking, right, and rocking and rolling. Okay, so Jen, why don't you just say a little bit more, a little bit about utilizing social media? Because I know, like in our team, our fastest growing teams are doing it via social media.
So what you don't want to do is put a post of yourself holding a bottle and saying, it's $11.25.
Here,
let me know if you
here.
want to. Go to younglivingsignup.com and place your order today.
In other words, selling.
Yeah, that's selling. What I will do is take a picture of my bottle and say, I've been spraying this in my daughter's throat and it got rid of her strep infection, which it did.
Yeah. Well, in fact, you've been spraying it in your throat tonight to get rid of yours.
I have a little cold tonight. So, and it doesn't sound like it because I'm using my lips. But so yeah, taking a picture of either the bottle or someone using the bottle or product, anything that Young Living is selling, and then posting that on Facebook and telling your story of how you're using it, what your experiences are. That's more personable. And
well, kind of like the same way you share oils in person, by telling stories. Well, stories sell and facts tell.
Yeah. So when we do classes, we don't read the product guide. We really share our stories and what we found are best.
Yeah, I mean that people will remember a story, and it makes an impression. Whereas just saying, well, lavender is antimicrobial,
and not
it's antifungal.
Not just makes an impression, but also helps that person understand the power of it
and connect with it, because everybody can see themselves in your story.
Yeah.
So, in other words, build a relationship on Facebook. So on Facebook or social media, it's really important to not just post about oils.
Yeah.
You want to build a relationship, with your friends.
Yeah.
So post about your life.
Making your Facebook personality very positive, uplifting. You don't want to be posting about. It's good to bring awareness to political events or issues that
social
come up.
issues.
Yeah, like the bees are dying, and there are issues that need to be brought up, but not dwelling and pounding people with it.
Well, people won't look. They'll tune you totally
They'll tune you out. And then when you do post something, if you're sharing something on Facebook, write a little something on there that puts your personal take on it.
Yeah.
So don't just say share with friends.
Yeah.
You want to say write post. Then you write your little blurb of why you're posting this.
Yeah.
It just makes your personality on Facebook more relatable.
Yeah, you're connecting. Yeah, that's one of my pet peeves is when they'll see a pretty something or other and they just post it. I mean, that's just lazy.
Yeah.
And you're not putting your personal touch on there. And it doesn't connect.
Yeah. Another thing is if someone, this is pretty obvious, but if someone says, homesick with my son who has strep throat, you would say, do you know about bees oil? It would help my daughter. So, you're putting little tidbits about that. When you see other people commenting about their bad backs or headaches or different issues like that, don't let them pass by.
Yeah.
When you can help.
Yeah. It's important to keep it short and sweet. Remember, Facebook is like, people don't want to sit there and read a whole dissertation.
Yeah, and they might not respond right away, but you're planting the seed, and that's really what's important.
Yeah.
When they are ready, they'll come to you, and to give them that power.
Can you, Jen, explain a little bit about how some of your team members, how they have used maybe the groups?
Yeah, so a lot of people are in groups, whether it's Crunchy Mamas or breastfeeders or animals
or moms.
Yeah,
groups.
yeah. And we're finding that you don't join them to solicit, but you can join these groups. I know my husband joined like a Holistic Dads one. You join these groups really to learn, and be a part of a community on Facebook, and to build relationships with people that you might not know in your own local community. So it gets your network larger. And then as things come up, like I said, if someone says, my son has strep throat, you can say, you can use seeds oil, or, sometimes some people, like I'll mention that I use Young Living oils in some posts, and then when someone else asks about, what did I use for headaches or something, someone else will actually point to me and tag me into the comment and be like, Jen Farino knows about Young Living oils. Why don't you contact her? So sometimes I don't even have to do anything. They just point to me.
Exactly. That's a connector for you.
Yeah. So joining groups and being active in them in a very kind and serving way is just a good way to spread your network.
Yeah, that's really good. And it's growing really fast.
Yeah.
It's pretty. It's like I'm watching the number every week. I look at it, like 50 more members. It's like, whoa,
Yeah.
It's interesting because really the world is our network.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's how we reached out to India and who knows
Malaysia and Europe and all over. It's amazing.
If you're an international
we never left our house.
Yeah, we never. Yeah. So if you're an international happy oiler watching this webinar,
hi. Yeah.
Thank God for Facebook that we've connected.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah. Now, it's very, very important also to utilize our Facebook group.
Yeah.
Which is a secret group, but you can find it, but, you have to be a member of our team to be on there. And, it's a great place to post your questions and, basically keep up to date with, events that are happening and classes that are happening. We post our files there. It's a great
and if you're in our Facebook group, and you're not friends with Peggy or I, friend up.
Yes.
And then you'll get our updates in the Facebook group and your newsfeed easier.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So it's very important that we're all friends.
Yeah.
And not just in the group. And it's very important that you don't just let Jen and I do all the posts.
Yeah.
Many of you are leaders, so post your events there. Post if you if you discover that an oil is back in stock, and we post it.
Yeah.
Start posting, because that you're step up into leadership.
Yeah, this is not our group. This is
your group.
Yeah, this is your group.
This is your group.
Yeah.
And same with the website.
Yeah.
This is not our personal website. This is something we created for you. Okay, for everyone here to step up and shine and become their fullest potential.
Yeah, so if there's anything you would like to see on our website, or
if you'd like to write a blog,
let us know, and just send it over, and we'll put it up there for you.
Absolutely.
And that's a really good tool. If you want to write a blog post, let us know, because then when you are telling people about oils, you can point them to your blog post on Happy Oilers Club website, where they can learn more and learn that this is a really large community that they can be a part of. And it gives you more authority when you're an author of a blog. It makes you shine. So we love to have guest bloggers.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jen. So I've always heard the expression, Jeffrey Lewis, who's our upline diamond, always says leaders are readers. And I'm sure he did not originate that phrase, but it's so true. And Jim Rohn's quote, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. That's so important. So, most of us weren't born leaders, especially after our childhoods and everything that happened, and our conditioning and, our blueprinting. So, it's so important that if we have maybe blueprinting that isn't one of abundance or one of success or one of whatever, it's very, very important to reprogram that. And that's where, you can learn from the best, just reading and listening to CDs.
Yeah, Adam Green says to connect yourself with mentors. And he doesn't mean to hire people.
No.
He just means to...
When he says his mentors are Richard Bliss Brooke and Darren Hardy and Jim Rohn, and, Jim Rohn is dead. He's listening to him in his car, Right. So Jim Rohn was on the top of my list. I have this list. This is in our files. I have a list of some of our favorite personal growth tools. Things from Jim Rohn, Darren Hardy, Sarah Robbins, Brian Crothers, Stephen Covey, of course, Richard Bliss Brooke.
Yeah. So I should add this list to our leaders page. So we also have a leaders page if you go to happyholisclub.com and you click on leaders in the upper right corner. It is password protected. You just send us a private message and we'll give you the password. It's for people who are interested in really developing their leadership skills in Young Living, not for people who are just starting and buying their premium starter kit to go and learn the ins and outs of the business. It's too overwhelming. So we did put the password on that page, and I'll put the list of these books on there as well.
Yeah. And Jen, you may have a couple to add, but these are the ones that I found to be most useful.
Yeah, one of the ones that I start with is when people start out that I recommend the 4-year career.
Yeah, the 4-year career. Yeah, and that's a great one to hand to somebody because it's just it's the easiest, simple, it's a quick read.
Yeah.
And it's a Young Living edition. So you have testimonials in the back of leaders like Adam Green is in there, and a number of other ones. And it's a great one to just introduce people to the concept of relationship marketing.
Yeah, and a lot of these books, like How to Talk to Anyone, and Compound Effect, they're really relatable to every part of your life, not just Young Living.
Well, I think pretty much most of these are.
Yeah, 7 Habits of Highly Effective Networking Marketing.
Yes, all skills for life.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Jen. This was
Yeah.
great. I kind of like doing this.
I
in
know.
this room.
It was
I think we
really
got to
good.
do it this way
I
all
felt
the
like
time.
we were like on The View or something.
Yeah, great. So anyway, thank you for joining us. We enjoyed doing this for you and with you, and have a wonderful Labor Day weekend.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions? If they want to write in the chat box. We're gonna post this on probably get it on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's good. And sorry for our technological
Yeah.
challenges. Hopefully they were small and
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good night, everybody. Enjoy your weekend.
Bye, Stacey.